For centuries, angels have been described as supernatural beings able to mediate between humanity and the heavens. As divine messengers, they are said to have been present at major events in human history, bringing news of good tidings or even warning mankind of impending disaster. It is to them that man prays during times of hardship. It is also by their hands that God's will is delivered. In modern times, as many as 80% of people believe these celestial creatures are real, with many claiming that their lives were forever changed after encountering them. For those who believe in angels, it is often said that sensations we might attribute to intuition actually come from an external source, that a sudden gut feeling instructing us to modify our course of action may actually be a message from an angelic being. Jackie Newcomb, a British author who has written extensively about angels and the afterlife, described in 2002 how she was approached by a lady named Teresa who claimed she had experienced just such a thing. It was the autumn of 1997, and Teresa was driving home along Canada's 401 highway after attending a night class. She stated that out of nowhere she felt a hand touch her right shoulder, which triggered a very clear vision. In the vision, Teresa witnessed herself lose control of her car. She saw the vehicle flip over and stood beside the ensuing accident scene. She saw the next day's newspaper and even attended her own funeral. In her words, "I saw far into the future and how my family's lives were affected by the tragedy." Shaken by the sudden vision, Teresa immediately turned off the music in her car and slowed her speed to about 80 kilometers. It was then that she heard a very loud bang and started to lose control of her car. Teresa described how she was able to pull to the side of the road, at which point it became clear her car had a problem. With no cell phone to call for help, she sat there in the dark and wondered what she should do. Yet, before she had a chance to do anything, a tow truck appeared. Teresa claimed that two very friendly and courteous men hopped out and helped her with her broken car. The men supposedly discovered 3 large holes in the driver's side tire. They explained that if she had been traveling any faster than she had been, she would have most likely flipped her car and been in a serious accident. After checking she was okay, the men towed her and her car to their garage and replaced the tire, only charging her half the cost. The men had seemingly appeared at the perfect time, saving Teresa from spending the night broken down on the side of the road. Teresa was convinced she had experienced divine assistance, not only because of the tow truck's appearance. Something happened that made her slow down, the hand on her shoulder, the ensuing vision. Without either, Teresa was certain her night, and perhaps even her life, would have ended very differently. In 1975, the philosopher and psychologist Raymond Moody published a book which would go on to sell over 14 million copies worldwide. Life After Life is a groundbreaking study of near-death experiences and details the experiences of people who, despite being pronounced clinically dead, survived. Through their combined testimonies, seemingly impossible knowledge is shared: what it is like to die. Perhaps surprisingly, the experience is described as being much more positive than one might expect, with those who experience NDEs left forever changed because of them. Something which Moody describes as perhaps the most incredible common element of near-death experiences is the appearance of a being of light. Invariably encountered by those who come close to death, this light is often said to have an indescribable brilliance. As it manifests, it increases in brightness, but does not dazzle or hurt the eyes of the experiencer. Rather, the light emanates warmth. The light, it is claimed by those who have seen it, is in fact a being. According to Moody's research, the person who is passing over feels an irresistible magnetic attraction to the light. The person is comforted and feels utterly accepted by the being. One person, describing their experience to Moody, explained how it was beautiful and so bright, so radiant. It is a light of perfect understanding and perfect love. Shortly after its appearance, the being invariably communicates with the experiencer. It has been said that this communication happens telepathically, with thoughts being exchanged between the dying person and the being of light. Often the being is reported as asking questions such as, "Are you prepared to die?" Some of those taking part in Moody's study stated that they believed the being of light was an angel, there to guide them through the dying process. The experiences featured in Life After Life are not unusual. Many have reported angels being present during near-death experiences. In the words of a lady who developed a near-fatal infection after undergoing surgery, "Nearly dying changed me. I no longer saw the world the same way." Over the course of 4 days, she reportedly spent time between 2 worlds, being shown the vastness of the universe by several angels. According to her testimony, the angels she supposedly encountered during her near-death experience changed her life in a significant way. Reports of angelic intercession are not always so life or death. Sometimes angels are claimed to intervene when someone is experiencing financial hardship. Such is the case of Ellie, who has reported being visited by an angel in 1994 whilst she was living in Melbourne, Australia. It was late afternoon and Ellie was outside gathering laundry from the clothesline. Suddenly, a small whirlwind of dust and leaves appeared. As it rushed past, Ellie supposedly noticed something blue whirling in the middle of the dust and leaves. She managed to grab hold of it and was pleased to see it was a $10 note. A few days later, Ellie noticed something lying in the grass of her garden. It was a $20 note. Not long afterwards, she claimed she found a $5 note in a different part of the garden, and then later another $20 note. Despite the high winds of summer, the notes had seemingly remained on the ground for her to find. Ellie's suspicions of the money having a heavenly origin were reinforced a few days later when one of her sons rushed in from the garden holding yet another $20 note. Allegedly, he had discovered it on top of the compost heap. Whilst it is easy to dismiss Ellie's testimony as simply having been lost cash spread about on the wind, Ellie was convinced that the money had been placed in her garden by angels. After all, about a week later, she is said to have found something else, this time inside her home. Ellie described how she was cleaning out under the bed when she discovered what she has called a little grace note, a 50-cent coin nestled in the toe of a discarded slipper. The much-needed money, she concluded, had been sent by angels. In early 2019, footage taken from a CCTV camera outside a shop in Turkey made its way online. To many, it appears to show a guardian angel in action. The video shows a shopkeeper working outside his shop as a stranger dressed in black walks down the road in his direction. As the unknown man passes by, he can be seen touching the shopkeeper on the shoulder. Looking up to see who was behind the shoulder tapping, the shopkeeper's attention is immediately caught by a white van speeding down the road. Within milliseconds, a large metal gate swings out from the back of the vehicle. The shopkeeper leans back, just about able to dodge the gate. Visibly shocked, the shopkeeper appears to look for the man who had alerted him to the potentially fatal collision. He had, however, disappeared. It was only after reviewing the CCTV video of the incident that the shopkeeper was able to fully comprehend just how miraculous the encounter had been. There was no doubt that if it had not been for the mystery man's intervention, he would have suffered a terrible, potentially fatal injury to the head. When interviewed later, the shopkeeper explained that the driver of the van came to apologize for nearly crashing into him. As for the stranger who tapped his shoulder, there was no trace. The shocking video has now been viewed thousands of times, with many asserting the man in black was a guardian angel sent to protect the shopkeeper from the deadly gate. One commentator has even described the mystery man as a genuine holy messenger. In 1916, 9-year-old Lucia dos Santos and her cousins Francisco and Yancita Mato were herding sheep near their home in Portugal. Despite their young age, it was not uncommon for children to be trusted with such work in rural early 20th century communities. The three children took every opportunity to be outdoors, playing together as they watched over the animals. In the spring and summer of that year, they rotated their family's few sheep through the small plots of land owned by their parents in different parts of the mountainous plateau on which the village of Fatima was located. What they claim to have experienced those months set in motion a series of events that would change not only their lives, but also the history of the Catholic Church and the lives of Christians worldwide. Writing her memoirs years later, Lucia explained how that spring she and her cousins were playing a game when a strong wind began to shake the trees. Looking up, they watched as a light whiter than snow began to manifest in the distance above the trees. The light took the form of a young man. Lucia described him as being quite transparent and as brilliant as crystal in the rays of the sun. As he approached the children, they were able to see him more clearly. Eventually, he spoke, telling them not to fear him and to pray with him. With what Lucia described as a supernatural impulse, they knelt beside the luminous man and joined him in prayer. After they repeated the same prayer 3 times, he is claimed to have disappeared. Sometime that summer, the man supposedly appeared before the children again. Lucia wrote that he chastised her and her cousins for lacking spiritual discipline. It was during this second appearance that the man revealed to the children who he was. He stated that he was their country's guardian angel, the Angel of Portugal. It is claimed that he instructed the children to make spiritual sacrifices to God, for only then would they bring peace to their country. After this, he once again disappeared. In either September or October of that same year, the angel visited one final time. Seemingly happy with the children's spiritual development, he presented them with a chalice. Into it fell drops of blood. After getting the children to repeat a prayer 3 times, the alleged angel instructed them to eat and drink the body and blood of Jesus Christ. According to the story, Lucia and her cousins were now prepared for another visitation. The following year, on the 13th of May 1917, a lady dressed in white is said to have appeared to the children during a lightning storm. According to Lucia, she shone brighter than the sun and gave out rays of clear and intense light. When she spoke, the lady explained that she had come from heaven. Before the end of the year, the lady supposedly visited the children 5 more times. It was during her final visit of the year, on the 13th of October, that she claimed to be the Lady of the Rosary. Between 50 to 70,000 spectators witnessed the final apparition, an event which is now known as the Miracle of the Sun. According to eyewitnesses, the rain which had been falling stopped, and the sun suddenly appeared, shining through a rift in the clouds. It is then said to have rotated, as though it had broken free from the clouds entirely and hung separate from the sky. First appearing a dull silver colour, the sun proceeded to throw off multicolored light before plunging to the earth, giving off heat as it did. Afterward, the sun is said to have returned to the sky as normal. The phenomenon was witnessed miles away and lasted an estimated 10 minutes. Our Lady of Fatima, as the series of events became known, remains a mystery to this day. It is claimed that the female apparition made predictions and revealed secrets. Some, including Francisco and Jacinta succumbing to illness at a young age, are said to have been proven true. Whatever the case may be, and whoever the Lady of the Rosary was, her appearance is claimed to have been heralded by an angel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the paranormal. So you don't miss an episode, please ensure you have enabled all notifications by clicking the bell icon. You can also subscribe to our newsletter, the link to which is on screen now. Until next time.